hydrated?
Trying.
You better. Hydrate or die straight. Sorry. Forgot, Pride Month's over. Alright. And I will do another roll call for if you're new or people who ever come in for the draw after. But if you stay until the end, we'll draw the name. There we go. You'll get 2 lovely prizes. One's kind of being used. We have a wig head up for grabs, minus the wig, and a little beginner's bag. So, welcome to Beginner's Guide for Wigs. I'm Bryce Stack. I will be your host for today, and this is Tokyo Yoten.
I'm just here for the arrows.
All right, let's get this party started. So, wigs, where do you get them? Virtually anywhere. But here's some big box office things. So first we got some of the bigger, higher priced ones would be Epic Cosplay wigs and Arter wigs. They're expensive, they have lots of options, and they're nice. But if you can't break the bank on a wig, fair enough, I can't, I use Amazon a lot. eBay, Taobao, Wish, AliExpress, Kelso Wigs, Mick Costumes. And also there is a independent seller called Kulia. She has some great tutorials as well. So these are a basic idea of where you could get them, ranging from some really expensive ones to some where it's cheap and easy and very accessible.
It's not just Mick that sells wigs, it's virtually any cosplay store.
Pretty much if it sells cosplays, it will sell wigs and sometimes even supplies for wigs. What are they? So wigs can be made of 2 different materials, synthetic, which is plastic essentially, and real human hair. Human hair, always gonna be expensive. So if you're falling on a budget, synthetic wigs for the win. There's 3 different types of hairlines essentially. Obviously with the growth of cosplay, it's always changing. But the basic ones are fixed parts, so you cannot change it. You can't flip it to a side part, go for a center part unless you completely take apart the wig. There is the flexible part like this one. Sorry, I don't have another wig stand. Also, can you in the back hear me okay? Thank you. So this one, you could flip it to the side, you could flip it to the other side, part it down the middle, no problem, nice and easy. And then there's my fan favorite. There is the lace front. These are the expensive ones. Unfortunately, it's a little cut short, but along every lace front is quite literally lace to help it make it more of a natural parting line. So typically when you first get your lace front wig, the lace will be quite far down. You cut it matching your hairline and it'll be nice and easy. We'll get more into that later. But those are the 3 types of hairlines for wigs. Lace front is always gonna be more expensive than your regular fixed or natural parts. Sorry, it's been a long day. Also with human hair, so human hair and the lace fronts are always gonna be more expensive, but they're worth it, they do last a long time. Not to say the other ones don't, but it's just the way they're created. The anatomy of a wig. This is the fun one. This is what you actually need to know in order to take it apart. So, this is the front cap, top, the base, ear tabs. The wefts are the pieces of hair. So, these are wefts. You could, oh gosh, that did not stay. Okay. These are wefts. They're braided because they make a huge mess if not, but they're just strands of the hair. You could buy them like this. If you need, you could also salvage wefts from the wigs themselves. You either can just cut the hair like straight across and you got yourself some hair, or you can just stitch pick or clip where they're connected to the wig. But that's also later too. And then you got your adjustable straps. So typically wigs will come with a little elastic band and little hoops. So if you have a small head size, what you can do is take both sides and size it to your head. So you don't want it to pull and get your eyebrows back and just have a nasty headache. Does not sound fun, right? So then size it to your head and you can wear it all day. I've been wearing this since 9 a.m. and no problems, no headache, no nothing. Although dehydration is a thing.
Sorry.
How do you choose your wig? Do you want it Canon, Fanon, your own made-up version of it? It's up to you. There is no set rules for how you want your wig to look. Do any of you guys know Black Butler? Book of Circus. Thank you, you're a queen. Okay, so does everybody know Doll? Or those of you who have seen it? Thank you. So those of you who don't, Doll originally is a character who has just this big flower ball over her head. I didn't want to do that, so instead I made roses, hair weft roses, and just popped them on. And so, doesn't have to be like Canon, your own made up version of it, right? But yeah, you can reference what do other cosplayers do? What do you want to look like? What suits your head shape and your body shape? Like, those are very important. Because I know for myself, I can't do the big spikes or else it makes me look like I have no body. So what's better for you? And you could easily do that by just playing with a wig. You can practice spikes, you can practice curls, see what works better for you and what you like. It will be trial and error, but once you got it, you're good.
You're also ever evolving with wigs.
Yes.
So maybe your first try might not be the one that works for you, but if you keep at it, you'll find something that you really like eventually.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, just don't throw away your wig. If you like, I hate this, don't chuck it. Put it off to the side. Come back to it later. Tools, my favorite thing, because it's your bread and butter. So you got your classic, you got your wig heads. There's a lot of different types of wig heads. Like this one here, it's a canvas wig head. I say it's the more elite wig head simply because you don't make craters when you poke the hole. You don't make craters in them when you poke too many safety pins to secure wigs through them. Trust me, if I de-wigged this one, she's got no brain. She's empty, head empty, no thoughts. And then, so this one, you do want to size your head, and what you do with that is you just take a measuring tape, fabric or paper, and you just, around the largest part of your head, so probably like to your temple, to your crown to your forehead, and then whatever number it comes up with, there you go, that's your head size. Then there's a good trusty foam. You can get them at Dollarama, you could get them at Michael's, you could get them at Spirit Halloween, Amazon, anywhere you possibly want. They're cheap, they're easy, convenient, especially if you have a lot of wigs that you cannot fit back in the bag. Like this one here, I would not put her back in the bag because she's got too many moving parts and she's heavily styled. Same with this one, wouldn't want to put her back in the bag. So, styrofoam wig head. And then these ones are superior and very fragile for travel. They collapse, they're easy, they're compact. I do not recommend styling on them though, because they're very fragile and they have no way to actually secure anything. But in a pinch, they do the trick. So these are the three kind of base. Apparently you could buy wood, but I don't know how that would work out because you can't exactly secure anything to it. But 3 different kind of wig stands. Most of them also have a way to put on a stand, whether it's just a hole in the bottom or a separate piece that you just click on, typically, or you just make a hole yourself with styrofoam ones. Just either pick it apart or whatever. And then you got your next favorite thing, your pins. So unfortunately I didn't bring mine, but safety pins or sewing pins with a little ball point, your best friend, because you just pop them in the wig. And then, let's see, I'm not sure if I have her secured or not, but if she's secured, she's not going anywhere. That means you could throw her down the stairs, no problem, because she is pinned in. Typically, I like to do a few on the top, and then 2 by the ear tabs. pull it down, and then one in the neck, just to make sure I covered all my bases. It's not gonna pop up on me. It's not gonna slide down and give you a receding hairline, or give your styrofoam head a receding hairline. I will answer questions at the end, so please save it for the end. Sorry, that was a little mean sounding. So your bread and butter is your wig head, your pins. Those will save you from a world of pain trying to style it on somebody else's head.
So just a correction, safety pins probably won't work well, but any type of straight sewing pin will.
Mm-hmm. And you could get really thick ones too with the canvas wigs. They're like T-pins. They're really easy, but they do leave a little bit of a bigger hole through the cap of the wig. All right, now you got your hot tools like your straighteners, your crimpers, your curling irons, even your steamers, which are really good for detangling wigs and shaping them. You don't need to buy everything all in one. I recommend going for a straightener first if you need any sort of hot tool, because it's easier to use for multiple things than buying a crimper and like that's it. Because a crimper, you're only able to crimp it. With a straightener, you can heat up the strands and style it that way, and it won't change the shape of the hair itself. It won't add any crimp marks, it won't do any of that. You could straighten it, you could curl it, you can spike it with a straightener. That is what I recommend as a very first tool if need be. Now your steamers are really good for detangling wigs as well as shaping them. So what I mean by that is if you're doing spikes, you can literally with a tail end of a comb, just heat it up and just run it through the spike just to shape it up. And once it cools, that is when it'll hold its shape. Add a little hairspray and you're great. Hairspray is not necessary though.
They're also very good if your curls are too tight.
Yeah, you could loosen them.
She'll take questions at the end.
Okay, and then next is like your clips, which pretty self-explanatory. If you're parting the hair, if you need to get like in between the wefts, you don't want to just keep them loose, just clip them up, there you go. Hair ties, whether it's the nice fabric ones, traditional ones, or the plastic ones, they're very handy for either mapping out if you're doing spikes or if you're doing anything more like a false hairline, or if you're doing something like this. They're great for mapping it out. Same with small little alligator clips too.
You could also use zip ties.
That too. Zip ties are great for ponytails. Like actual like full on like big ponytails, because you just zip them on, tight as can be, it's great. And then your scissors. You don't need fancy scissors. You don't need anything that'll break the bank. You could literally get a pair from the dollar store that's just kitchen scissors and snip away. You don't need these fancy high class salon grade scissors unless you're gonna be doing professional wig styling, which if you are, great, good for you. I support you in all your endeavors, but if you're just styling them for you, you don't need it. You can just deal with kitchen scissors. It's very easy, it's very cheap.
Alternative things are razors though.
Razors give nice texture. Just straight razors, or face, like you know the face razors you could get? Yeah, those two. They're nice, cheap, and easy. Just done.
So the bonus tools of
Oh.
blood, sweat, and tears, because you can cry and it's okay.
And maybe a demonic circle. Yeah, so just some ideas, some references, some photos.
Got to Be Glued is like one of the main hairsprays that cosplayers use.
Yes, so, and there is a reason for that. So, Got to Be Glued is a silicone-based hairspray. What that means is it does attach to false or plastic fibers. So, regular hairspray, it's fine, you can use it, but you need a lot. Got to Be, or a silicone-based hairspray, you spray it, you're good. You won't get super crunchy, you won't need like half the can for one just simple little doodad there. Spray it, you're good. If you are using it though, I do recommend maybe getting like a blow dryer or something just to speed along the process of drying, because it can stay a little wet for a bit. Oh, and combs. Combs are your best friend too, thank you. Because simply for detangling, for just separating things,
generally brushing it.
Generally brushing it. Get an array of wide tooth and fine combs. Because if you're detangling a wig, you do not want to start with a fine tooth comb. You're going to cry, and it's going to take you days.
I do that, it sucks.
So you start through with the wide tooth, and then you go through with the fine tooth.
You can also get a teasing comb that hairdressers use, which helps when you want to like create volume for spikes. I'm showing. I'm sorry. I did.
Okay, here's some basic rules. Obviously, fit them to your needs. But what I like to live by is when I am trimming my wigs, I will not take a whole ponytail and cut it that way. Instead, you go like section by section. So small pieces will save your wig because you don't want to take off too much. Unless you're taking off, like let's say I want this much hair gone. So all of this little tail. You can start off, go lower, and cut off like this, or even a little bit of this, like just as is. But to get a more precise style, you want thinner sections and smaller sections. Oh my gosh, tongue twisters. If you do not know what the temperature your wig can stand, don't full blast it. That is a safe way to melt your wig.
It creates a tangled mess.
A tangled mess you will never revive if you melt your wig. It also smells awful and it's slightly toxic when you melt your wig because once again, it's probably plastic. Start low. I say when you first turn on your straightener, it's usually the lowest it could be. Work your way up. If it's not doing what you want, work your way up. If not feeling hot, work your way up. Typically, you could also look at the manufacturer description, or the description in the wig where you bought it. And it should say how hot you can go.
Both in Fahrenheit and Celsius.
Yes. Sometimes they only have one or the other, but a simple Google search will easily convert it for you. Once again, there's more than one way to style a wig. What I'm telling you here, other people do differently. It's not a one-trick pony. It's not just a one-size-fits-all. Some people don't like to do the scissors. Some people like to do straight razors for cutting wigs. Some people don't like to use hot tools to style their wigs. They like to use the steam. It's all up to you. As you go through your wig journey and how you're figuring out what you want to do, you will learn the things you like. Teasing, crimping, and the likes. All of those will add structure and thickness to your wig. Crimping will add more of a volume to your wig, as well as add lines. So if you don't like the lines, be wary of that. This entire wig was crimped. It is thick, it is glorious. If you want thickness, I recommend crimping. If you don't like the lines, immediately throughout every single section, brush it through. Don't wait for it to cool, just immediately brush your section through and it will reduce the look of the lines. Teasing is when you take a strand or a section of your hair, your wig hair, and you hold it up and you, with the fine tooth comb or the teasing brush, you pull all that hair that you have in your hand down. It may take more than one go round, but that'll create essentially a rat's nest on the top of the head.
Wigs are very much trust the process.
Yes. It's very much a trust the process. So crimping will add thickness, teasing will add a structure. So if you're going for spikes, if you're going for that pigtail look, or, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of other examples here. Anyway, if you're looking for a more structured look, teasing is your best bet. I'll get more into that after. Once again, trust the process. It's gonna look absolutely awful. I had a few breakdowns with this one and this one because it looked horrible before I finished. Trust. Just, if you're gonna mess up, that's okay. 9 times out of 10, you could hide it. Unless you're completely lopsided, then I'm so sorry.
If you do have a lopsided wig, you can always just like adjust it on your head so it looks more even. So it's not the end of the
Illusion. If you sprayed too much hairspray, do not panic. You can brush it out. Whether it's with a comb or an actual brush, or if it's a styled, structured wig, you can grab a Q-tip with either some water or 99% alcohol, or 70. I prefer 99 because it gets it done quicker. And you just rub the Q-tip through. Wherever it is that has too much hairspray, you just rub it through and it should evaporate and get rid of some of it.
If you are using glue, if you want to reuse the wig for other characters, it's not exactly recommended because that glue will stay.
Yes.
If it's a one character wig, let's say doll.
If you want to reuse a wig for multiple different characters, do not put glue in it. Any adhesive. You could use hairspray, that's fine. But if you're looking to make it go through 6 different characters, all with different styles, glue will make it so it's a one character it only. So I cannot change these two at all because of the amount of glue in it. This is all she wrote. Whereas these two, no glue, that means I can style them as much as I possibly want. Cutting. If you want the blunt bob look for any of your wigs, going straight across, perfectly fine. But if you want a more natural look, like you and I have on a regular day-to-day basis, you wanna have your hair and cut this way. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but in the long run, it will make it look and fall more natural. Start low, like I said, work your way up. You don't wanna overcut your wig or else you can't fix it. It's not like your hair, it won't grow back. Unless you wanna spend a lot more on wefts or buy a whole new wig. But if you wanna do that, that's good, that's all on you. But if you wanna keep within your budget and you only wanna keep to one wig or no extra wefts, then just start low, work your way up. Occasionally, if it is for you, try it on. And if it's still too short, then keep cutting. Razors, straight razors, facial razors, whatever you wanna call them, they will give more texture to your wig. It won't be just a blunt cut. It'll definitely, because you're not cutting at the same length as everything else, it's gonna be a little awkward. It's really great if you want spikes, if you want to do more natural pieces like these, like just in front of the face. It's really great using a straight razor. Or if you're doing an undercut too. If you're doing the side shave or the undercuts, straight razors are the best because you can get that very little effort look with a lot of wefts though. Did we miss one? No? Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, yeah, I did, okay. Okay, the fun part, teasing. Lovely little drag queen wig over there. That's what your teasing will probably look like before you brush it out. Don't panic. Don't cry. Well, maybe cry because it took a while. But like I said earlier, you lift it, hold it up, and then you take your brush and you drag it to the root multiple times until you're not holding onto any of that hair anymore. It's gonna take a while, but it works. It's a great process. What I like to do is I'll do it multiple times if I want like a nifty wig, for instance. I have a nifty wig as well. I backcombed that thing 6 times before I got it to the shape I want, and this big, bold beautifulness. So do 1 round, hairspray. If you wanna just do the 1 round, that's great, that's perfect. Personally, I like to brush it all out again, and then do it again. Rinse and repeat until I'm satisfied with it.
If you're using teasing to get volume in, like bangs, don't brush all of the tease out, leave a little bit so you get that bump essentially. So
Yeah, if you want the volume that like bangs can get, or if like anywhere in your wig, don't fully brush it out. With spikes, you just wanna make sure that the surface looks nice and smooth. Same with any other spiky-er or like curl style. Not so much curls because you don't really, drill curls, the big drill curls like the Duncan Rompa character. You could tease that hair as well, just to give it a more fuller look. But brush it out, you're good. It's not gonna look like a rat's nest. Underneath it might, but no one's gonna see that anyway. crimping small sections, and you want to angle your crimper a little more vertical. So you're not gonna go straight across, you're gonna tilt it a little bit. And you're just gonna go straight down. And if you like the crimp marks, you could wait until it's cooled down to brush it through. But if you don't, like I said earlier, you can easily just, as soon as you're finished doing that, you just brush it out. And you'll get barely any crimp marks. Sometimes you're lucky enough where there's no crimp marks, but you can't win them all. Pretty much, it will look like dried ramen. Once you're done crimping your wig, it will look like dried ramen, and there's no helping that. But yeah, if you like the crimp marks, just let it cool and then brush it out, and then move on to the next section. If you don't like it, brush it out immediately. You're good to go. Same amount of volume, just not as many crimps.
If you're spraying things with hairspray, you can use your blow dryer to dry it a little faster so you're not sitting there holding it.
What she said. Hair dryers will make things speed up. You don't want to go full force and do the gales of wind, because that will make it fly everywhere. You just want nice low setting with a heat setting. And that'll dry the hairspray, or whatever product you use. Curls! There's very many ways to do curls here. These are only a few options and ideas that you can do. Like I said, there's always a changing industry, so to say. Always people coming up with new ideas and new things to do. So if your wig is not heat resistant, it cannot take any sort of heat. What you're gonna wanna do, if you did not get a style that's already pre-curled, is you wanna take rollers or pins, roll it up, put a bag over it. Plastic is preferable. Or you could do a silk pillowcase, but who has silk in this economy? And you take your steamer or your iron, put it full on the steam setting. I'm so sorry, guys. And you put it over the bag, underneath the bag, and you just steam the crap out of it. And you let it get nice and hot. And then once it cools, and then after you empty the canister or whatever you want to do, you think, okay, we're good enough. You want to keep the bag over it. And then once it's cool, nothing feels warm, nothing feels hot. It could be over a few days, whatever you want to do. It could be over a few hours. You take it off, and then you take out the curls. You take out the pins or the rollers, whatever you used, and it should be curled. If not, just do it again, because sometimes it's a stubborn wig. Option 2, similar to the idea with the steamer, but with some sort of hot tool. It could be a straightener. It could be a curling iron. You just take your section, you either straighten it down, make sure it's hot, and then you roll it up, clip it, and the minute it's cool, you can take it out. It's a lot quicker than the steam, I promise you that. And then third option, you could literally just curl it like you do your natural hair. You could just curling iron, straightener, whatever. Takes practice, but once it's cooled down, the key to any style is once it's cooled down, it will hold its shape until you either brush it out or you do something else with it. So here's a little version of what I was talking about with I call it a pin set. It's like the women in the 50s with the getting ready to go out and stuff. Alligator clips in the corner there, and then rollers. You can use both, you can use one, doesn't matter. I use pin set clips or alligator clips because I just find they're very versatile.
If you don't have curlers, you can use random round objects around your house.
You can use bobby pins too to just slide in and let cool. Oh yeah, actually, thank you for that. So another way, if you're like, I don't want a pin set, but you want like a drill curl, any round object, you just heat that hair up and you wrap it around. It could be a bottle of hairspray, it could be a wooden dowel. You just have to hold it until it's cooled down, and then you take out whatever you wrapped it around and it'll be that same shape. Hairspray, if you set it with a little bit of hairspray before it's done cooling, it'll hold it for a lot longer, can probably withstand a hurricane. How do I wear my wig? Help. I do recommend a wig cap, but if they give you constant headaches, you don't have to wear one. I get a lot of flack for that in the community, but hey, you do you. But typically, if you're wearing a wig net and you have long hair, a wig cap, there we go. If you have long hair, medium hair, anything but like super short hair, you can braid it, like French braid, or even just like a nice simple like braid like this, where it's just ponytail style. Regular braid, thank you. Make it a bun, or just take a gander and shove it all in. I do recommend they kind of remind me of those old fabric headband ones where you just drag it down, headbands where you just drag down to your neck and then you just pop it over. They're a lifesaver. You can also double up with that version and then just the bald cap version. So pretty much if you have long hair, just get it out of your way or freestyle it, whatever works for you. I find that braiding it gives you more of an anchor point to anchor your wig in. So yeah, braided it, you put your cap on. You can secure the cap itself to your hair if you have enough sideburns by crisscrossing bobby pins using any adhesive or a double-sided tape. And then size your wig to whatever's comfortable for you. Pull it on. What you can do is, if you're putting it on for someone else, get them to kind of hook, and then you put the front of the wig over and slide it on that way, instead of just pulling everything back. It's a lot easier. But if you yourself are just putting it on yourself, what you can do is just pop it on. I like to find the ear tabs, match it up with my ears, and just kind of flip it on. No hassle, no issue, none of that, just whoop.
So when you buy a wig, a lot of times they actually come with the wig caps.
They do
A lot of
sometimes.
times they come in tan or black. And for crisscrossing bobby pins, what I like to do, because she doesn't wear one, is I like to cross them right above my ears. And you could also use bobby pins to secure your wig down. Oh, I'm sorry. I
Okay,
jumped
if
ahead.
you're not wearing a wig cap, that's perfectly fine if you have short enough hair. What I like to do is I French braid my hair and then pin it, and then that's what I do. I don't like wig caps because they give me headaches, but you do you. If you want to wear a wig cap, great. If you have like a buzz cut, you don't need one either.
If you're
And then,
bald, you
so
don't need one.
what you can use to glue down your wig, you can use spirit gum if you're not allergic to it. Always do a test patch. If you are allergic to it, there is a little bit more of an expensive alternative called Prozade. It's a medical grade adhesive you could pretty much swallow. I don't recommend it though, it doesn't taste good.
Insides doesn't sound good.
Or you can use double-sided fashion tape. So if you have the really heavy wigs, like Jinx from the arcade, she has really thick pigtails, braids, thank you.
Any long ponytail wig.
And it's gonna, or yes, any long, thick, heavy ponytail wig, you can always glue it down so it lasts you longer and you're not constantly having to pull it back up.
If you don't like the option of glue, you can also get a wig grip, which is on Amazon. And
Yes,
it's
that
just
too.
like a headband you wear under, and it's got silicone.
Silicone or it's velvet. There's two on the market right now.
I don't know.
Washing and aftercare. You do not always have to wash your wigs. I recommend washing it when you first get it, and only if you get it absolutely nasty. If you went to the beach in it, you took a swim, you decided to do a photo shoot with, I don't know, garbage, I don't know. Anyway, point being, if you did something that makes it disgusting, just wash it. On the other side, if you come from a convention, you've got a little bit of hair, oil, sweat, whatever, spritz it down with some 99% alcohol, good to go. It's sanitized, it probably evaporated any additional oils. That being said, be very careful if you have a very heavy styled wig, because if you wash it, you're probably never getting that exact same style back. So typically if it's a really hard to wash wig and it's heavily styled, just 99%, I'm so sorry, good luck. But to actually wash it, you want something that your wig can float in. So if you have a really thick wig or a really big wig, just
You're gonna create wig soup.
you're gonna create wig soup, but also like use a bathtub, use a big pot, use kind of what you have available. It just needs to float and sit for like 5-10 minutes. But cold water, You can use typical, your own shampoo. Just pop it in the water, swish it around, let it sit for a few minutes, rinse it out, and then put to dry. Do not even try anything with your wig until it is completely dry, or else you will be pulling out fibers. And then when you are brushing your wig, you want to start small and do not panic if it is a big knot. You can cut it out if you need to, and if you're just getting super frustrated with it, or you can easily just take your time, grab a steamer, steam it up, gently pull it through. It's a lot of work, but it's gonna look good afterwards. Slow and steady wins the race. You could store your wigs any way you want, honestly. You could throw it in a pile and to never see the light of day, in a laundry basket. You could put it back in their bags. You could store them on a wig head. You could put them on a bookshelf. Literally. Anyway, there's no wrong way unless you're putting it in a fire or a garbage can.
It's
right?
kind of up to you and
your space requirements.
Yeah.
If you have a small space, then just keep them in the bag unless they're super heavily styled. I do recommend if it's super heavily styled, just if you have an empty space on a bookshelf or even in your closet, just buy a few wig heads, keep them up there. They could be your guardians over the night. Okay, unfortunately, I can't quite go through all of these because we are running a bit out of time, but I will go through a few of them. If you are doing something that needs a lot of structure, like let's say a Yu-Gi-Oh wig, you know, the big, or Dragon Ball Z wig, you don't necessarily need to use just the hair you have. Great fillers are tape and wire, so you make a structure that looks similar to how you want the end result to look. You wrap it in tape, and then you put wig wefts over top of it. And then, depending on how you want to attach it, there's multiple ways. I'm unfortunately running out of time, so I can't get into all of them. So that's one way. Or you can get styrofoam, cut it into whatever shape, paint it with whatever color is closest to your wig. Once again, wig wefts. You can use PVC pipe, you can use metal, you can literally use anything to get the structures you need. Open your mind, open to tutorials, and you can literally make anything. You can also use Worbla. Internet is your best friend. This is made with Worbla. You can easily just paint it, shape it with heat, pop it in your wig, has like a headband structure in it, so it's even better. There you go. Side cuts and the like. So if you're, side shaves and like undercuts, you want to add a few more wefts of hair to where you're gonna have your side shave or undercut. And then you're gonna cut it as small as possible. You could slick it down with hairspray, you could slick it down with gel or glue, whatever floats your goat, and just, it'll make a very, kind of an illusion of a side shave or an undercut. Okay. I will also have this entire thing up on my highlights in my Instagram, so feel free to pop on or even send me a message and I can send you some screenshots. But because we are running out of time, I'm gonna take questions now, and then we are going to do the draw. So once again, if you weren't here in the beginning, we have a draw for 2 prizes. You could come up, put your name in, whether it's your actual name, your Instagram handle, whatever you want, as long as you know it's you and it's not inappropriate. Put your name in and we'll draw it in like 5 minutes too.
Anyone have any questions?
Questions? Hello.
Yeah, so you mentioned for like glue and hairspray to remove things. What would you do with gel, for example?
Gel? Water.
Water? All right.
Hello.
What is the best way to detangle?
Cry. Sorry, no, okay, so if you mix a little bit of water and conditioner in a spray bottle, mix it real good. I typically do a 1-to-1 ratio, and then you spritz it lightly into the wig, And then with a steamer or your own loving patience, just gently go through it, small sections each.
Salt pen.
Okay. Other questions? Hello, you in the back. Yeah, I mean, if it's safe for babies, it's safe for you. As long as it's not like a corrosive thing, you're fine. I don't recommend using dish soap. That's the only one I do not recommend using because, well, dish soap is very... But baby shampoo, it's fine. Okay. Any other questions? Yes. I'm so sorry, I can't hear you.
The techniques that you described were both natural and plastics hair, right?
Yeah, so wigs are typically made of two fibers. So, sorry, there's two different types of wigs. There is human hair, which people donate their hair to make wigs. And that is a human hair wig. It will say if it's synthetic, which is the plastic one, or human hair. The human hair wigs will be so much more expensive. They are kind of easier to style for more natural styles. So if you're just doing like Victoria's Secret style with the hair flying everywhere. But, and then synthetic wigs. I've never seen a mix of the two. It's always been one or the other unless someone took two wigs and Mod Podged them together. If that's their own creation, I haven't seen it on stores yet. But synthetic wigs are always made with a plastic fiber. That is why they can melt if too high of heat or a corrosive material. Hello.
What's the best way to transport wigs, like over a flight?
Over a flight, so if it's just like there's no style to it, the bag. Pop it in your suitcase, you're good to go. If it's something more styled like this, I've seen people make a portable wigs thing with a box. They put a paper towel roll on the bottom and then put some packing tape, or not tape, sorry, packing foam around it so it won't move. And
Okay.
then you could do that, or you can honestly give it a shot and hope it works out for the best in your suitcase. But there are also, Arda and Epic Cosplay Wigs both do a travel bag for wigs. It is a little pricey, but if you're doing a lot of heavily styled wigs and you're traveling a lot, it kind of pays for itself. Yes?
If you have a pair of earheads and one color in your hair, can you take a wig and dye it?
You can dye it, yes. Oh my gosh, synthetic RIT dye is your best friend for dyeing wigs. You could also use alcohol ink if it's a white base, alcohol ink, or you can also use acrylic paint.
You can also splice a wig, which is a
That
little
too.
bit more advanced.
It's a little bit more advanced, or if you need multiple different colors, buy wefts. They're great. Or if you have a wig that is on its last strand, then you can harvest any good wefts. Just take them in a big grip like this, put a ponytail around it, and just cut it off. You got yourself some wefts.
So she mentioned a hole in the bottom of a wig head. That's it. I don't know if you could, but it's just a hole.
Yeah, you can easily carve it out yourself.
In foam heads, they kind of grow in size, so you might have to pack them.
Or just get a new one.
Yeah.
Yes, you with the braid.
How would you attach the wefts to the wig?
Hot glue or sewing. So, it's okay, she fall. In between each to connect the back of the neck to the front of the cap, there are lines. So you can either hot glue it onto that, or even E6000, whatever you're kind of comfortable with, or you can sew it. If you're hot gluing it, you can never move those those wefts. Nifty had a question.
So this morning I was failing at making loops for my nifty wig, but I'm not sure how to make smooth loops at the end of hair.
Okay, so it's pretty easy. You just take the shape you want it, and that's what I was trying to explain with the steamer. You just hold it, and then let it cool. Add some hairspray, and it should hold the shape. You could also do it with a straightener. You just kind of take the straightener and swoop it. Hold the swoop for a second, and then theoretically hold. If not, then you might have to do it once or twice. Wigs are funny like that.
You can also brace it against something, kind of like a curl.
Yeah.
You in the back there. Oh, yeah. Yes. I will take one more question and then we will pull for the draw.
All the way to the front.
All the way to the, oh, too far. Too far. Okay. Fight to the death, just kidding. Ooh. Actually, you know what, 2 questions, yes.
Okay, so I used to have experience with a very cheap wig.
Yep.
It's a blonde in color, but because they lack so many hairs, parts of the wigs actually shows my real hair.
Okay.
Other than buying webs, do you have like any other solution?
You
to
could use
that?
quilt batting.
Quilt batting.
Yeah, as long as you paint it to match the color of the wig or as close as possible, you can fit quilt batting in between,
Okay.
It should hide.
and it'll help camouflage. It won't add much thickness, but it helps.
Right.
And I will answer your question.
I was wondering, so is there any way to keep wigs from kind of fraying? Because like, I have a lot of long hair
Yes,
wigs.
dryer sheets.
Okay, awesome.
Literally just dryer sheet, whoop, done.
Okay, thank you.
Also, for storing, you could loosely braid
Oh
them.
yes, if you have a long wig, like this one, braid them. It will make your life so much easier, rather than just the bag. But we are running out of time, so we got a lucky winner, or 2. 2 lucky winners. And the drum roll, please. Is Poppy L still here? Come on up, you get your own canvas wig head that I borrowed, I'm sorry. My Instagram is price.cause.
Oh, I do. Oh yeah, amazing.
Thank you.
And our next winner is Joey with a smiley face.
Specifically, you got a little beginner's pack.
Oh, I should have said no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm sorry, I got excited.
Alright. And if you guys have any questions or if you need any advice, feel free to reach out. I try my hardest to help anyone who comes to me with wig questions. I'm so sorry we were rushed today. I wish I could have taken more questions and been more thorough with my explanations and such, but unfortunately tech issues got in the way. But thank you all for coming, and I really did appreciate it. I hope to see you. I am hosting a airbrush panel tomorrow at, I believe, 5 o'clock, so I hope to see you for that tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your